As we begin on our backs, I'm going to invite you to have your knees bent. Take your feet hip width apart or even a little bit wider, depending on what's comfortable for you, letting the knees fall together. And then really check in with your spine, and we want to find a neutral position right here to center. And so in a neutral position, there is a gentle curve in the lumbar spine. Okay, if you've ever seen, a spine sideways, an image of a spine on the side, it has a gentle curve in that low back. Some people tend to have that exaggerated, and other people tend to have lost that. So can you kind of rock your pelvis to find that neutral position? Because that's really the healthiest place for your spine, right? So as we walk in our day, as we move throughout our day, being aware of where our spine is according to the pelvic tilt, right? So if we posteriorly tip the pelvis, we're flattening the low back in the floor. Anterior tip of the pelvis, we're creating quite a bit of space between the floor and your low back. Okay, so it's important to know those terms, really remember them. And then you can place your palms on your lower belly. Notice if that's comfortable for you, and if it's not, you're also welcome to simply open the arms wide. Palms up. Let the body relax into the floor, into your mat. And that idea of surrendering into gravity. So letting go of any tension in the body. Notice where you hold your tension. Right? And the most common areas are low backs, as well as neck and shoulders. You might be noticing another area. And just invite them to soften. Right? So the sense of softening and releasing. And we also had an opportunity there to kind of check in with the physical body, noticing where there is that tightness, or you may have an injury that you're nursing today, taking care of. So really pay attention to your choices that you make for yourself in the practice. So this practice is about self-care. And the choices we make are as an opportunity to practice ahimsa, non-harming, non-violence. We can flip that and say, treat ourselves with loving kindness. Bring your attention to your breath. One of the most convenient tools we have when we are feeling stressed, or we're feeling tired, or we're feeling overly anxious. Our breath is available to us at any time, anywhere. So as you rest your attention with the breath, taking a moment to simply follow the natural flow without you changing or manipulating or shaping it, what do you experience with your breath? Are you noticing that it's been a while since you've taken a deep breath? Are you noticing congestion? We're just observing, being curious, not judging. If you're ready to lengthen the breath out, and go ahead on your next inhale, take about an 85% of your capacity, pausing at the top of the breath just for a moment, and then slowly let it out, and see if you can create an even length between the inhale and the exhale. Bring your attention to the out breath, to your exhale. With the intention to let go, surrender, soften, release, whatever resonates with you. This might be letting go of tension in the body. It might be letting go of a worry or concern. It might be letting go of a to-do list later today. It might be a release of any judgment of yourself or others. And so it can represent many things. As we release and let go, we create space to take in. So now I invite you to pay attention to the inhale as you take in what you need for yourself today. There's no wrong answer here. Connect into your heart and how this practice can serve you. Continue to drop into the moment, staying present with your breath. The readings I share from you today are from the book called One Soul by Jenna Falls. Attend the breath. Let the rhythm slow and settle. Filling, emptying, draw the outside in and then release. Simplicity and ease. Nothing to do but breathe, relax, and feel the free movement of air and life force. Watch the play of energy and sensation. Allow everything to be without the need to change, fix, or make it different. This moment, you can listen to your soul. This breath, you can have no goal but being. You are already complete. This, just this, is what it means to be whole. Let's take a deep breath into that sense of wholeness, of being complete, being in this moment. Go ahead and extend the legs out along the floor, reach the arms overhead, and just stretching from the tips of the fingers to the toes, maybe reaching right and left. And then once again, bending the knees. So with a low back request, I like to really begin with all of our low back care. So let's move the blanket off to the side. Bring your arms down by your sides, palms down. And then we're going to go ahead and just begin with actually let's bring the knees and the feet all the way together. And we'll begin with our sacral rock. So the feet are going to stay firmly planted in your mat. So we're not rolling to the edges of the feet. And you're just rocking side to side across your sacrum. So these movements, in order for the feet to stay really flat, to stay firmly planted in your mat, These movements are quite small. So notice what areas of the body are moving. Notice what areas of the body are not. The stillness. And then check in with those areas of stillness and notice if you're bringing in any unnecessary effort or tension. Shoulders, neck, facial muscles. Maybe you're even scrunching your toes. So most of us walk around through our day without realizing how we're carrying ourselves, but we are engaging with quite a bit of tension. And now from here, deciding if it would serve you to make this a little bit bigger, roll into the edge of your feet. We're still warming up though. So we're not looking to go into a really deep twist here, particularly if you have any sensitivity in your low back today. I would keep this small. So we're just rocking right across the top, the upper rim of the pelvis. Now, as we began these small movements, where's your breath? So if it's wandered away, come back into that nice, long, smooth, even breathing. And then we'll bring that back to center. Feet move to hip width apart. And we'll come into our hip hikers or sliders. So just slide or hike one hip up to the shoulder and then the other. So as I've mentioned many times, pay attention to the direction your knees are moving. And if they're swaying side to side, you're making this movement a little too big. It's not meant to be large. Pause, come back to center. And then we'll take this into our hip pointers, press into the right foot, point the right hip bone up, and release back down. And then same thing on the left side. Opposite buttocks stays on the floor. And same idea with the knees. They're not going to sway side to side. However, you might notice that you'll push one away and towards you, so they move more like a scissor motion. And then from here, come back to center. Keep breathing, and then we're going to go ahead and alternate between these two. So you can do several hip hikers, and then several hip pointers. And just go back and forth between those two. Slow, steady breathing. Small, subtle movements. And let's go ahead and come to the center, and then we're going to find our way into pelvic tilts. Tuck under, the low back flattens, posterior tilt, reverse that anterior tilt, little back bend. Stay in a range of motion that feels safe to you. Movements doesn't have to be really large. But maintaining this range of motion and maintaining the flexibility through our sacrum and low back and our hips, really important to the health of our spine. Notice if you're trying to be a little too aggressive or pushing a little harder than you need to here. The feet are relaxed. And so they're soft, they're just resting in the earth. And the movement's being created through the core and movement of the pelvis, not by pressing the feet into the floor, but by your core, your abdominal strength, and the movement in the pelvis. Learning to isolate parts of the body. And then go ahead and rock that to neutral. Pause. Just notice how your low back's feeling. Right, so already connect into any sensations, anything that may have shifted. Always checking in with yourself throughout the practice and allow your choices to be in alignment with that. From here, let's draw the knees into the chest. So now we're rounding that low back, just feeling a gentle stretch there. If it's too intense to draw them all the way in the chest, then keep them farther away. And we're going to come into our Apanasana. Inhale, arm lengths away, and exhale towards you. These movements are as large or as small as it works for you. And then from here, let's take the knees, keep them together, and just circle them around in one direction. Nice gentle massage through the low back and the sacrum and the pelvic bowl. And then gradually switch and circle the other way. And then last movement here is to take the knees and circle them wide and back together. So a little bit through the groin and the inner thigh. And then we'll bring our feet back down to the mat. Take them out as wide as your mat. I always have to shift here because I'm next to the wall. So having the feet wide is really nice for the low back and sacrum as we move into our double knee drop. It is a twist, but it's very gentle. So exhale, release the knees to one side. We're opening the arms wide from the shoulders, palms up. Inhale, just the top knee, opening the legs wide, and then exhale, release to the other side. Inhale, open. Eventually the bottom knee will follow. And exhale, release them to the opposite side. Just slowly move with this one. Be curious, come into a beginner's mind. Many of you have done this time and time again over the years. So you can check out and still do the practice. Stay present. This is a gift you've given yourself. Stay present to this gift. If you'd like to rotate the head or get the neck involved, you can rotate the head the opposite direction that the knees go. Let's go a couple more times each side. Take your time. Slow and mindful with your breath. When you've gone equally side to side, bring the knees back upright, feet on the floor. Excuse me. Arms by your side. And let's go ahead and come into a moving bridge because it's also really nice for our back. So just make sure there's nothing overhead above you that's going to get in your way. Assuming you can bring your arms all the way to the floor. And remember, there's always the option to simply bring the arms up to the ceiling only. So depending on what you have going on shoulder and neck today, you find your range of motion with the arms. Feet are hip width apart, 4 to 5 inches from the heels, 4 to 5 inches from the buttocks. Let's start with just the lower half of the body. Now we are going to press into the feet, posteriorly tip the pelvis as you roll the spine, vertebra by vertebra, off the floor. That's your inhale. Exhale, roll back down. And then inhale, back up. Roll the hips back up. Exhale, roll back down. So just imagine this is a bit of a massage through your spine, connecting your breath with the movement. Long, smooth, even breathing. Now, the next time you lower back down on the exhale, we'll add the arms. Inhale, roll the hips up and bring the arms overhead. And exhale, leave the arms there as you roll the spine back down. Inhale, back up. And exhale, release. Everything down together. Arms, spine, hips, back to where we started. Inhale, hips up, arms overhead. Leave the arms there. Exhale, lower the hips. Inhale, hips back up. Exhale, everything together. Find your own pace with this. Go several more rounds on your own. You can follow me if you need to. And don't be afraid to change this up. Something else would feel better. Feel free. This is your practice. The next time you find your way back to where we started, pause and breathe. So notice what's shifted for you or what you're experiencing 30 minutes into the practice. So eventually today I'd like to move into some deeper stretches to honor that hip request we had, which will also be hamstrings. I want to create a little bit more heat in the body. So let's go ahead and roll to one side, find your way to hands and knees. We're going to come into our flow and kind of create a little bit more warmth, a little more movement. You may want to have your blocks by the front of your mat. And placing your palms into the floor, fingertips spread. Really anchor into the full length of your fingers into the base of the fingers instead of the heel of the hand. Okay? The tendency is to really drop into the heel of the hand and then the wrists start to get tired. So just a reminder to really press towards the base of the fingers and the full length of all 10 fingers. Right? So then on an exhale, we round. And inhaling, open. Soften the heart towards the earth. Lift the head, lift the tailbone. Exhale, round. Inhale, open. Use your core to help you with this movement. So we draw the navel to the spine. We keep that engagement as we move through these two poses. It supports our low back. And you can stay with the cat-cow, or if this might feel nice, we'll go ahead and take this into hip circles. So just getting a little bit more creative in our movement, moving the spine in different directions, the hip and the low back. You can move side to side. The whole time we're keeping that gentle engagement of the core and a nice, long, smooth, even breath. Find your way back to neutral. Curl the toes under and let's come into our first down dog together. Knee upside down and go ahead and pedal the feet. Bending the knees, shifting through the hips, moving through the shoulders. Again, the same idea that we did from hands and knees, just moving creatively in a way that serves you, feels good. Just kind of working in through all the joints. And on your inhale, come back to hands and knees. And let's find our way into our mini flow. So exhaling, release back into a child's pose just for a moment. Inhale back up to hands and knees, curl the toes under, and exhale, down dog. Just moving in and out. Inhale to knees. Exhale, down dog. Or excuse me, child's pose. Inhale back to hands and knees. And exhale, down dog. So just finding your flow here, taking several rounds, creating some warmth in the body, moving through the full length of the spine. Connecting movement and breath. Long, smooth, steady. So 2 more rounds here. The next time you find your way into down dog, go ahead and pause there. Coming into the pose, so softly bend the knees and to really tip the pelvis. So we're taking the tailbone high into the sky, lengthening out the low back. So if your hamstrings are particularly tight, you're going to want to bend the knees even more. Emphasizing the length in our spine, not the length in our legs. Right? So this is really nice for the low back. Shoulders are away from the ears. Press the palms equally into your mat. Take 2 more breaths here. On your exhale, walk your feet to your hands. Standing forward fold, Uttanasana. Hang out for a moment. The knees can be as bent as you need to. You can also take your block that may be at the front of your mat there and rest your hands on the block. That's fine too. And then we'll go ahead and bring the hands to our hips. Bend the knees. Reach the crown of the head forward. I'm running into my plants today. Obviously I set up differently. And come to standing. Good. So just finding Tadasana for a moment. Go ahead and I'm just going to face the camera. So bring your feet a little bit wider than your hips. Let's continue with some warm-ups. I'm going to adjust my mats here just a little bit. I've got myself set up in a weird way. See if that helps. I'm running into everything. Okay. Arms by your side. Place your palms on your belly now. Left hand on top of right, feminine energy. Right hand on top of left, masculine. So what energy would you like to connect in here today? Breathe into the belly, allowing it to expand on inhale and contract on exhale. Release the arms by your side. And we're going to go ahead and connect some movement and breath, just some easy Qigong exercises. So on an inhale, reach up. Palms face down. As you exhale, from the crown of the head all the way through the spine. And bring that energy down to the toes. We stay upright though. And again, inhale, reach out wide and up. And exhale, let it wash over you. So what was your intention that you wanted to bring in or have this practice assist you with? You can really work with that here. Just draw it all up. And the exhale, allow it to fill you from head to toe. So just working with some of the more subtle energies. And you work with this in a way that suits you. Just meet yourself where you are. And at the completion of the next exhale, pause with the arms by your side. Feel. Just feel into the echo of the practice. Good. So now let's go ahead and place the palms up in front of us. And on the inhale, we're going to draw up. So maybe you're drawing something up from the earth, or you can still continue to work with the intention of your practice. Inhaling, filling up. As you get to the heart, rotate the palms up towards the ceiling. It's all one inhale. Palms down as you exhale wide and bring the arms back down by your side. Surround yourself. Right? So inhaling. And exhale. Inhale. Really taking our time. Hold for a moment at the top. And exhale. One more time. Pause and feel. We're going to do one more exercise here, and then we're going to come into some salutations to really create some more heat. So on your inhale, we come into a little bit of a squat, crossing the arms in front. And then we exhale as we press, like I'm exhaling to my right. My right hand presses down, my left palm presses up as I twist to the right. I inhale back into that semi-squat, arms crossed in front, and then exhale, twisting the other way. Press down, press up. Inhaling to center, slight bend at the knees, exhale into the twist. Inhaling back to center, and exhale. So just notice what you experience on this movement, rather than me giving you any ideas of what this experience is supposed to be. Allow it to be whatever it is for you. Let's go one more each side. Inhaling, coming back to center. And exhale, release into Tadasana. Okay, so let's go ahead, come back to the front of our mats. I'm just going to adjust my... Okay, so from the front of our mats, finding Tadasana. Feet are hip width apart and parallel, arms by your side. Take a few breaths here, just feeling this pose as we root into the earth. Spine is tall, core gently engaged. Gaze straight ahead or eyes closed, that's up to you. When you're ready, on an inhale, reach the arms out wide, bring the palms together overhead, and exhale down through center, fold forward. Inhale halfway, nice long spine. And exhale, release. Walk both feet back into plank pose. If that's stronger than you'd like to be this morning, feel free to place the knees into the floor. Take a couple of breaths at either from hands and knees or plank. Just creating some heat, working on our core strength. Keep breathing. If you're not at your knees, go ahead and lower the knees, and you can either drop back into a child's pose or go ahead and bring the heart to the floor. And a small lift, that's an exhale. Inhale, small lift of the heart, just the chest. We're not pressing into our hands. The upper back doing the work. And then on an exhale, curl the toes under, use your core, press up and back into down dog. Take a couple of breaths here and allow yourself to just settle into this pose. Spine long, bending the knees if you need to. Shoulders softly away from the ears, outer spiral. On your next exhale, walk your feet to your hands. Back to the front of your mat. Inhale halfway. And exhale, release. Inhale to standing. Exhale into the heart. And again, inhale, reach up. Exhale, fold forward. Connect with your breath. Smooth, even movements. Inhale, halfway. Exhale, release. Walk back into plank pose or to knees, inhaling. Pause here for a couple of breaths, feeling the strength of this pose. Come to the knees if this doesn't feel safe to you today. Either lowering to a child's pose or all the way to the belly on an exhale. Inhaling, small lift of the heart. And exhale, press back into down dog. Pause here. On your next exhale, walk your feet to your hands. Inhaling halfway. And exhale, release. Inhale to standing. And exhale into the heart. Let's go through one more sun salutation A. Inhale, reach up. We're going to add on exhale, fold. Inhale, halfway. Long spine, engage the core. Exhale, fold. Walk both feet back, coming to the knees or plank pose. Hold for a couple of breaths. I'm intentionally holding here, just working on our strength. And then on your exhale, lower to the belly or into child's pose. Inhale, small lift of the heart, or from child's pose, you're coming back to hands and knees. And we all join back together in down dog, exhale. Take a couple of breaths here. And on your next exhale, walk your feet to your hands. Inhale halfway. Strong core. Exhale, release. Inhale, come back up to standing. And exhale into your heart. Relax the arms by your side, and again, just feel the practice for you. Okay, so we're going to add on to this and doing our sun salutation with our low lunge, and then we're also going to work in our hips a little bit to honor that hip request. And so again, this is all about creating heat in the body, and I love the sun salutations because they really work in all the joints of our body. It really works the whole system. And so just finding this flow with your breath, making any modifications you need to. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale halfway. Exhale, release. Step the right foot all the way back, right knee into the floor. And here we can use our blocks. Let's come into our lunge rock. I think most of us really enjoy this, and it's a wonderful way to really warm up through the hip flexor and the hamstring. So we inhale forward, we lift the head, open the heart, and we exhale, rock back as we straighten that left leg. And maybe the toes rock up off the floor too, that's fine. Inhale, open, exhale, fold inward. Just softly dropping into the right hip flexor and softly stretching into the left hamstring. Right, we're finding a minimal to moderate edge here. This isn't intended to come into our max stretch. Being kind and gentle with our bodies as we continue to listen to them. So as you come forward next time on the inhale, I'm going to move that left block out of the way and place my palm of my left hand to the outer edge of that knee. Okay? And let's just do our little bit of our fascia resistance work. So press the knee into the palm of the hand as you rotate to the outer edge of that foot. And then the hands pressing into the knee while the knee resists being placed back in center. 4 rounds. So you should really feel the outer thigh and hip waking up here, having some work put on them, workload put on them. So really igniting that fascia. Okay. And then the next time we open out, we're going to stay and hold just for a few breaths. We're going to come into a deeper hip stretch towards the end of the practice. But right here, just allowing that hip to open. Really also notice and pay attention to what's going on in that right hip flexor. I know I have the tendency to continue to drop deeper and deeper and deeper into it. And I want to stay up just a bit with this. Keep the core engaged, spine tall, heart open, lifted. Bring that back to center. Go ahead and move the blocks out of the way. Press back into plank pose. Or knees. Pause, take a couple of breaths. And then your exhale will bring you into child's pose or to the belly. We inhale the heart, just a small lift of the heart. And we exhale into down dog. Notice if you'd like to walk this one out a little bit, or if it would feel nice to just come in and hold in the pose. Either one's fine. Just take another breath or two here. You're either going to come to the knees or from down dog. Bring your gaze up to the front of your mat and swing that right foot forward. Low lunge on the other side. Left knee drops to the floor. Going to take a hold of your blocks. And we find our way into our lunge rock here. So we inhale forward and exhale back. Inhale forward and exhale back. At your own pace, but I do encourage it to be slow and even and mindful. Continuing to embrace the idea of self-care and self-compassion. Who's on the mat today? How can your choices be in alignment with that person? Next time you come forward, we'll move that block to the right out of the way. Palm to the outer edge of the right knee. Core engaged. And then find that resistance. Press the knee into the hand into the knee. Open out to the right and come back to center. 4 rounds, resisting both directions. Waking up, warming up, igniting the outer right thigh and hip. After that fourth round, so on the fifth time, just open and hold, moderate pressure and moderate stretch. Keep breathing. Bring that back to center. We'll move the blocks out of the way as we step forward to the front of our mats into a standing forward fold. Inhaling halfway and exhale, release. Inhaling back up to standing, use your core and exhale into your heart. Either pause here in Anjali Mudra or bring your arms by your side. Either way, check in. Notice how you're feeling. Feeling the echo of the practice. Notice how the body is responding to the choices you've made for yourself. And we're going to put all that together, and we're going to go ahead and come into our sun salutation with the low lunge. Okay, so feet parallel, arms by your side, connect in with your breath. And we'll go through several rounds here, nice and slow. Inhale, reach up. Pause anytime you'd like to. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, halfway. And exhale, release. Right foot steps back, right knee into the floor. Inhale here. You can keep the hands in the floor or bring them overhead. Exhale, release. Press back into plank pose or hands and knees. Exhale to child's or down to the belly. Inhale to hands and knees if you're in child's, or just the heart if you're on your belly. Not a real deep back bend here. Curl the toes under, press up and back into down dog. Exhale here. Pause for a couple of breaths, find stillness or movement. It's up to you. So walk it out or just hold in the pose. So either bring yourself to your knees and swing the right foot forward, or from here, look to the front of your mat and come down dog. Bring that right foot forward. Okay, and on an inhale, reach up or keep the hands on the floor. Exhale, fold and step the left foot up to meet the right. Inhale, halfway. And exhale, release. Inhaling, reaching overhead. Exhaling to your heart. Surya Namaskar. Welcoming the sun, another day. Inhale, reach up. And exhale, fold. Inhale, halfway. Exhale, release. Left foot steps back, knee to the floor. Inhale, rise. If you choose, you can stay low. Exhale, fold. Inhale, hands and knees or plank. Exhale to child's pose or down to the belly. Inhaling back to hands and knees or baby cobra. Exhale, down dog. Pause for 2 more breaths. on your next inhale, you either come to the knees or swing that left foot forward from down dog and come on up. Exhale, fold, step the back foot forward. Inhale, halfway. Exhale, release. And inhale, rise up. Exhale into the heart. Release the arms by your side, and once again check in. Just noticing, feel the echo of the practice, notice your choices, how's the body responding. So always taking this time to allow ourselves to be in a state of non-doing and just feel. So let's find our way back down to our mats gracefully, inhaling the arms overhead, and exhale, fold forward. Walk both feet back to down dog. And then from here, inhale to the knees. You might want to take the knees out wide. Bring the big toes together as you exhale back into a child's pose. Now you don't have to take the knees wide. That's just an option. And then we drop if you are with the knees wide, we're dropping the torso between the thighs. Letting the belly soften. You can keep the arms extended out in front of you, or bring the palms together, bend the elbows as you take the thumbs to your neck or your upper back there where they reach. If child's pose is not available to you, feel free to be on your belly, just breathing there. Gratitude, reverence, surrender, humble. We'll go ahead and we'll find our way back to hands and knees and roll onto your backs. Have a strap and a block nearby. At this time, I don't want to have any placement underneath our head. Let's go ahead now. I want to come into a hip stretch, and we'll start with our left side. Place the left ankle on the right knee. So most of you who've been working with me now for several years have noticed I really don't offer pigeon pose much anymore. For those of you familiar with the pose, you are always welcome to find your way there. What I have found though is just due to aging, most of us stepping into aging, that knees are just not quite the same. And pigeon pose is a very precarious pose for knees, let alone a population where knees are kind of so-so. Okay, so I really don't offer it much anymore. Figure 4 is a much safer way to do this. So as you've placed your left ankle on your knee, we want to have the foot flexed, right? Not pointed, but flexed. That's also nice for the knee. And you can take your left hand and push that knee away from you, and that might be enough of a stretch. Okay, so we keep the right foot on the floor and just press that away. The other option is to grab through the hole as you interlace your hands behind your right thigh. Pick the right foot up off the floor, still keeping that left foot flexed for the knee. And then notice how that stretch feels in that left hip. Some people feel this a little bit in the groin. You might feel this in your IT band, right along the outer edge of the thigh. So wherever you're feeling with this, it's fine, just breathe. I'm just gonna stay and hold in this stretch. So bring your attention to long, smooth, even breathing. And if you'd like to here, maybe it would feel nice to inhale through the nose and slowly exhale through the mouth. That's fine too, or breathing through the nose in both directions. Let's take about 3 more nice slow breaths here. At the end of that third breath, we'll go ahead and release this. Place your left foot in the floor. Right ankle on the left knee. We'll go ahead here and we're going to either just check in with this side. Notice it could feel very different than the other side. You're going to go ahead and place your right hand, just press that knee away. Notice how that feels. Sorry for the background noise. If you can hear that, it's my generator running through its little test cycle. And then if you would like to, you can go ahead and interlace your hands behind the left thigh, pick that left foot up off the floor, and remember to flex that right foot so that you protect that right knee. Find your place here, your position, and breathe. You should be able to maintain a nice, long, smooth, even breath here. Let's take 3 more breaths here. Extend both legs out on the floor. Let's just stretch them out. Maybe even reach overhead. That might feel good. Full body stretch again. And then let's bend the knees. Take your strap. Let's start on the left side again first. So we're going to take our strap around the ball of your foot. If you don't have a strap, you can simply grab behind the leg. That's fine too. Okay. We're going to, as we take our hold of our strap, then we're going to slide the hands down so that the upper arms, if possible, are on the floor. Here we are with our pelvic tilt again. So find a neutral pelvis. So if your low back is flattening into the floor, then draw that left leg farther away from you so you can find that slight anterior tip of the pelvis, okay? Or bend the knee. Some of you may need to bend the knee, right? And then from there, maintaining that tip of the pelvis, start to straighten the leg, finding that hamstring stretch. So we want to lengthen that attachment to find the proper stretch here. And the goal isn't to see if you can get your knee to your nose. There's no goal here. So just breathe into this stretch. And then the other option you have is to extend the right leg out along the floor, flex both feet, and try to anchor the back of that right thigh into the floor, which is also going to help with that. You're going to find that if you have that slight anterior tip of the pelvis. Harder to find if the back's flattened into the floor. As we hold and breathe, you might notice the hamstring loosens up, and you might be able to bring the leg a little closer to you without losing that pelvic tilt. It's just slightly, not exaggerated. Nice steady breathing. Take 3 more breaths on this side. So go ahead and first bend that right knee. Release the strap. Extend that leg along the floor, shake that out a little bit. And then we'll go ahead and switch sides. Place the left foot on the floor and the strap around the right foot. Ball of the right foot. Extend that leg. Slide the hands down the strap, relaxing the neck and the shoulders. Find that slight tip of the pelvis, so there should be a little space between your low back and the floor. Again, maybe that means moving the leg away from you, or maybe that means bending the knee slightly, okay, depending on the flexibility of your hamstring. Breathe here. Notice how this feels for you. And then if it would serve you, extend the left leg along the floor, foot is flexed. And we're trying to anchor the back of that thigh into your mat. Steady breathing. I came to a hamstring stretch because that's also really helpful for our low backs. Three more breaths here. can slowly release by bending the left knee, placing that foot in the floor, and then releasing the strap. Extend the right leg out along the floor, shake that out a little bit. We can move the strap off to the side. And then bend both knees and draw them into your chest. Little Apanasana, inhale arm lengths away, and exhale towards you. Several times with your breath. And then from here, we're going to go ahead and we're going to find Shavasana. So just notice what props you would like, whether you want to put a blanket on you. You've probably already started cooling down. You can place something underneath the knees as you extend the legs along the floor if you'd like to. Maybe a pillow under your head or another blanket under your head. Arms are a little ways out from your side, palms up, so we roll the shoulders back and the heart open. We're going to let go of any shaping of the breath here. As we drop into a place to receive. Receive the gifts of this practice, integrate them, and bring them with you into your day. I'm just going to be here a couple minutes, and I'm going to bring you out into a breathing and meditation practice. Begin to take a few deep breaths. And as you do, start a little movement in the body, wiggling some fingers and toes. Bringing yourself out of Shavasana. After a few breaths there, go ahead and roll to one side. And then take a moment to find your way to a comfortable seated position. We'll be here about 10 minutes. You can even shift to a chair if you need to. The body's not comfortable on the floor today. So take a moment to get settled into a seat that allows you to be comfortable and for the body to not distract you for a few minutes here. And once you've settled into your seat, bring your attention to that nice, smooth, even breath again. We're all going to start there together. Nice, long, smooth, even breathing. We're going to inhale and exhale through the nose if possible. The inhale and the exhale are as even in length as you can make them. So this breath may be the best one for you today, and you're welcome to stay here. Otherwise, I'm going to invite you into engaging with the Ujjayi pranayama, where we gently constrict the back of the throat. So you can hear and feel it move, and it allows us to manipulate the breath a bit more. This breath is considered a bit of an energizing breath. I personally don't find it to be that, but in yoga, in the teachings of yoga, they say that this is actually a breath that's slightly energizing. So really connect into this breath for you and notice what the effects are for you. That's what's most important. So from here, you'll go ahead, and if you've never done this breath before, you can practice it with an open mouth, pretending your palm is like eyeglasses, and you're gonna fog up those glasses and clean them. It's that same area of the throat that we're engaging with here. Again, an even inhale and exhale, and just feeling that breath move in the back of the throat. I find it very soothing and calming. It's also called the ocean breath. So if you don't find the ocean to be calming, this breath may not feel like that to you. You can let it go and just breathe evenly without engaging the back of the throat. Right? So this is your practice. Slow, long, comfortable breathing with the Ujjayi pranayama in both directions. Inhale and exhale, equal length. Whether you're practicing the Ujjayi pranayama or not, I'm going to invite you to hold at the top of the inhale for just a 2 count, and then move into the breath out for the exhale. The exhale you can hold for a 2 count afterwards if that's comfortable for you, but if not, just allow that inhale to naturally come back. Several more breaths here. At the completion of your next exhale, let go of any shaping of the breath. Just be in the experience, the echo of the practice. There is no turning back, you know. Once the soul is awake and the voice of spirit beckons, there is only one direction. Of course, the route may look a bit circuitous. Yes, it may look as if you move every which way but forward until you see the broader view, the one that shows you with arms thrown wide, embracing absolutely everything, your long stride carrying you to the exact spot on which you stand. The path to truth moves through some quite peculiar landscapes, and there are times you'll swear you're going nowhere. But if you tried to iron out the twists and turns and make it all into a perfect, straight, and narrow walk to the finish line, think how boring and predictable that would be. Where you need to be right now is here, just here, precisely where you are. Let's bring our palms together to our hearts. Honor this time you gave yourself this morning. Gratitude for those who shared this practice with you. And as always, I thank you for allowing me to take the seat of teacher. Namaste.